Thank you and welcome back to our weekly training on services and management. Our goal every week to talk about how we need to better service our clients by increasing our service skills as brokers in three categories: new homes, resale, and distress. We also want to talk about management, how to better manage your money, your time, your people, your processes, everything about management that has to do inside of our business. So increasing your services and increasing your management is what we want to talk on a weekly basis here on our training. So today I want to talk about just a thought of the day: crash courses in life. All of us go through some level of crash course in life, and it is so important that we develop how we are to overcome in these crash courses. It's called a crash course for a reason, because it really crashes our life. It crashes upon us, it crashes within the context of where we're at, and we have to work through the process of dealing with everything that happens after a crash. Once a car crashes on the road and there is an accident, what happens? There's so many pieces to pick up. There's so many things to restore. There's so many things to, put back together. There's so much energy that is spent on restoration. But you and I, we face crash courses maybe once a week, maybe once a month, maybe once a year. But all of us have to have a crash course restoration plan. And that is my suggestion. And for the thought of the day, do you have a plan of how you restore yourself from a crash course? And if you don't, you should sit down and slowly create a plan. What does my crash course recovery plan looks like? Do I call this person? Do I have a savings account where I pull money from this? Do I talk to these people? Do I buy a second car? And so forth. For example, when I got a car wreck, and I understand that, it takes 3 weeks by the time they get your car figured out, by the time the insurance, by the time the payout and everything, I have a savings account. What did I do? I just went and bought a car in the next 2 days. Why? Because I have to be back on the road. I have to be back on my meetings. I have to be back in business. I have to be back in a car. I can't wait through all of this. Oh, let's figure out a rental process for you and so forth. What did I do? I had a crash course plan of action. And once that happened, in my life, I've been in 3 car wrecks. And will you be in a car wreck? There is a high chance that you might end up in a car wreck too. But how do you overcome that crash course? What about your health, right? None of us are perfect. We get sick, we get tired, we need recovery. What do you do through your crash course when you get sick? Do you have the right doctors in place, the right people, the right phone numbers, the right connections? You have to build a recovery plan, because sometimes when we're in our crash course, we don't have the energy to build a plan. And we're always relying on somebody else to help us. So we all go through crash courses in our life. So will you. And it is important to have a crash course recovery plan that is assisting and helping us through the recovery of the crash course. We talked last time about the 10 steps or the 10 services that you and I need to focus on to help prepare our sellers for the market. And we talked about each category, unpacked each category. And when we develop our service skills in those categories, when we finally sit down with a seller, we're going to be so much better equipped, understanding the market, understanding the circumstance, and doing all these services to our sellers. Not only that, once we have these 10 steps figured out for ourselves, we could give these guardrails of what the seller is to expect of us, the broker, when we service them in the market. And this is a big thing. The sellers always ask, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to help me? Why do I need a broker? Why do I need to pay you a commission? Right? All of these questions are questions that come out of the seller's mouth to us brokers. But when you have this list of services, you slowly overcome all these objections while you're giving them a presentation of your services. And hopefully by the end of the presentation, they might have 1 or 2 questions instead of 20 questions. Where does my house get listed when it goes to the market? How many people see my house? How do we get buyers into our home? These are all questions like, what's the time frames? Do I have to make 5 mortgage payments by the time we get this home sold? What are the expectations? These are all questions sellers ask brokers. So it would be a good service that we know the 10 steps onto how help sellers through their process and build this out. Take the time. Take the time to sit down and build out these 10 steps and then create subcategories and then customize it kind of to yourself. So it's not just a copy and paste. It's not mechanical. It's very fluent to who you are as a broker or as a team. And then slowly start to present that in your meetings to your sellers. Service skills and management skills. And today, under management, I want to talk about an asset that all of us have. All of us have time. All of us are given the same amount of time. All of us are given the time that is given to us. Meaning, all of us have 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we all have to figure out how to best manage that time. The difference between successful and non-successful people is people who spend time building their management skills in the area of time. That is the difference. So when you take successful people and you see what their habits are within the same context of time frame, and those who are not so successful, those people who have and get so much more done, and those who don't get anything done within the same time frame, the question arises, why? The question arises, how? How and why, and how can this person in the same 24 hours be eating breakfast in Portland, eating lunch in Denver, and doing a transaction in New York in the same 24 hours, right? I mean, and that truly does happen for a handful of people. And another person, he wakes up and goes to sleep. He barely got his dishes washed at his house. And I mean, it's a true fact. It's truly. And you meet these people who are still in pajamas walking around at the stores. What happened? 3 hours was not enough to get ready for the day. So, we see this all around us, those who understand time management and those who don't. And today, I'm going to be talking to you if you want to excel. When you look at your time and you're like, I want to excel, I want to get more things, this is who we're talking to today. Those who want to truly excel in their time management. The first thing is have a simple life. And this is what I mean. If you look at your desk in your office and you have 20 pens, simplify it. Put 2 pens, take the rest out, black and blue. That's all you need, and maybe a highlighter. Take all those other pens and put them in a drawer. This is what it means to live a simple life. When you have 50 pairs of shoes, the energy you spend on choosing from 50 pairs of shoes compared to choosing from 10. And just make your shoes seasonal. I'm going to wear these for summer. I'm going to wear these for winter. I'm going to wear these 10 for spring and these for fall. Just set aside, make your life simpler. When you take a look at all your clothes that you have, say, I'm going to wear these t-shirts to work, these t-shirts to church. I'm going to wear these shirts, these sweaters, so forth. Simplify your life. So when you open your closet, you're not looking at 1,000 shirts and spending 20 minutes figuring out what you're going to wear for the day. And there's some very successful people who have chosen to simplify their life to such a point where they wear only 3 shirts and that is it. Their wardrobe has the same shirt, they just take it on, put it on, and they move on with life. They have simplified their life. So simplify your life. Don't make it too complex. But the more stuff we have, the more complex it gets. So it's so important to get rid of the clutter and simplify your life. Get rid of your clutter and simplify. Everything you do not need, sell it. Everything you do not need, sell it. Simplify or give it away. Simplify your life. Keep it clutter-free. Number 2, focus on the essentials. Concentrate on the essentials. When you look at your day, what is essential in this day? What is it that you must do? And in business, we talked about prospecting is absolute must. So if you take a look at 8 or 10 or 12 hours of your workday, You have to know that the essential thing is prospecting. You have to have booked meetings or prospecting as your fundamental concept of business. So 2-3 hours a day you have to be either in meetings, in front of people, or on your phone talking to people. But you have to put that as your essential. Concentrate on your essentials. I really like it. They talk about income producing items. I watched a lot of other training. They say, what is your income producing items? And if you're a solo broker, it's one thing. If you're a team broker or a team leader, it's a whole other thing. If you're a company owner, it's a whole other level. But at each level, you have the essentials that you must choose, that you must focus on. And what's interesting is the higher you go in training or leadership, you have to let go of these other essentials to be fulfilled by other people. You can't do them all. You have to figure out what is essential in your category at your given position and your given role. Third, control your time. When you go on YouTube, don't spend 2 hours just rabbit trailing. Control your time. Say, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit down on YouTube and I'm just going to watch fishing for 5 minutes. I'm going to watch hunting for 5 minutes. I'm going to watch the news for 10 minutes, period. Like, control your time. Give everything the time that you're willing to give, but do not let just people steal and steal and steal and steal your time. If some friend calls you and starts telling you the story of his life for 3 hours, you do not have time for that. You know the minute you pick up that phone that you can give him 15 minutes. That's it. After 15 minutes, you got to wind down on the conversation. But controlling your time. I've met so many brokers that get away on so many rabbit trails with their clients that eventually it's not income producing anymore. At a certain moment, the conversation is not going to produce any more income. Whether you're talking to them for 2 hours or 5 hours or 2 days, it's not going to make you any more money. And if you're in business and you treat it as work, you better eventually figure out how to cut those ties. And we talked about in another session about long-term, short-term relationship. All of this is a big factor about how you control your time. Yes, I will give my time over to more people if we're in a long-term relationship. If I think we can do business for 3 and 5 and 10 years, absolutely I'll give you more time than if it's a short-term relationship where I think this is only going to last for a transaction and we're kind of done. So control your time. Be respectful to people. Hey, thanks for calling, but you know what? I got another call coming in, or I got an appointment that I have to be at. Move from appointment to appointment, from conversation to conversation. Control your time. Strong pressure. Apply strong pressure to specific tasks. Apply strong pressure to specific tasks. What does this mean? This means that certain tasks need all your attention, and when you need to hone down on this specific tasks, remove yourself from everything else. If you need to spend all your energy on 3 things, hey, we have to get this file to closing. And if that's your focus, do not put any focus on anything else. Give your attention to that specific task. If you have a 35R and an inspection response from a buyer that you need to spend an hour going through your seller, give all your energy to that task. If you're supposed to close today and something happened to the buyer or to the seller and it's not closing today, we need another week of an extension, put all your energy to that situation and that task. But again, put a lot of pressure on specific tasks that help things to move forward. If I'm going to go to a meeting and the seller starts to talk about so many things, or the buyer starts to talk to so many things, and there's no emergency, then there's nothing to put pressure on. But if there is something that is of an emergency and you need to put pressure on it to keep the file moving forward. There's another one I didn't put here, but choose words carefully and accurately to save time. Do not use triggering words. Do not use complex words. Be simple in your conversations. It'll save you time. Explain yourselves specifically, but use your words carefully. Because a lot of words or word choices that we use can lead to rabbit trail or emotional triggers. And this is what we need to learn about time management, is choosing our words carefully. And then time alone and time at our work are of equal value. Time alone and time at work are of equal value. Take breaks. Working in the office, working with people, working with clients, getting transactions from start to finish to closing, getting people moved in, getting people moved out, getting people comfortable, getting people removed from anxiety, especially when we're dealing with distress situation, getting people through distress moments in their life. I mean, you need time to rest, time alone. Take those breaks throughout the day. Just like you take, there's breaks on construction jobs and everybody, everywhere else. 2 hours in, 15-minute break. Lunch, 1 hour, right? 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Take time alone and treat it as of equal value as time at work. This has been one of the most phenomenal suggestions that I have applied in my career. Why? It helps you through burnouts. You prospect for 2 hours, you stop. You take 20-minute break. You just leave the phone, everything in your office. Take a walk. Go grab, coffee. Just take time alone. Settle it in, take time break. Even after a hard conversation. I might have a hard conversation with a client. We got some fires to take out, and then I'll put the phone down, and I take like 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to process everything. Take time alone for yourself to recoup so you can keep moving forward. But the race is hard. It's a marathon. You have to take breaks. It's not a sprint. Business is a marathon. We're running this race, and you have to take breaks. I've met so many brokers where I have met them where they are being broke. Not financially, but they're just broke emotionally. They're broke psychologically. They just cannot no longer keep moving forward. And the reason a lot of them ask me, how do you make it? Is I take time alone, take time alone, take time alone, take time alone. Take time alone. Allow the time that you are alone for restoration, recouping, refreshing yourself, maybe listening to some music, but allow that time alone to prep you for the next move or the next step forward. Time management. It is not something you will learn overnight, but a step 1 and step 2 and step 3 into the sphere of time management. We have to get a lot more things done if we want to elevate from a solar to a lead broker, team manager. We have to learn to manage our time. And it is amazing, those people who progress in time management, they do accomplish so much more. They actually have more free time than those who do not. That is what is amazing. I have found that people who can manage their time well, they have more free time than those who can't. Why? Because they set aside time for everything. And they can do, 3 hours of work, which takes most people 2 days. These people who manage and learn to manage it, they can do 1 hour work of work for those who take 8 hours of work. The return of time management is huge. It's huge. Once you learn these skills, a simple lifestyle. Take everything off your desk, leave 2 pens and a highlighter. Essentials. What are the essential things? Control your time. How much time you're giving to everybody or all the people who need you throughout the day. Put certain strong pressures on those things that have to get done now. Spend time alone. Choose your words carefully. All these principles, if applied in your life, will move you into a space of where your time is bringing you more money and your time is not being taken away by 20 other people. And you actually control your life and control your time.